being on the spot to tell what hope looks like is hard because I didn't know a good definition when I needed it. So, looking back now, my definition of hope has grown into something that is very personal and kind of comes out hard to translate, because hope is like believing in something you don't see, that you can't fathom would ever happen because you're so deep into this darkness. It's holding on to a belief that there is a brighter side of something that you're going through. Hope is finding the little glimmers of joy and accepting them, not just seeing them, but actually accepting and knowing that I'll get more of those moments of bright pieces in a day where I might realize at the time that I smiled and that I enjoyed a moment even in a dark part. So that hope is that I'll get more of that. That wasn't clear in those dark times. And now knowing a really good definition for myself is good to have going forward for the future dark days, to remind myself that hope is possible because of other people reminding you that you can find joy even in the smallest pieces of what you may not have found joy in before.
Hope is feeling and knowing there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You don't have a time frame, but knowing that this too shall pass. Hope means to know that eventually it does get better.
Hope is finding whatever is your way of getting through a challenging situation, whatever will make you keep going and keep living and keep wanting to try harder and not give up.
Hope is that belief in your chest, in your heart, that there is a way or a solution or a path, even if you don't know what it is, that's out there and that you're going to find it.
Hope is like a feeling of a weight being taken off you after worry, anxiety, and stress. Hope is seeing a possibility for joy, a possibility for mending.
Hope comes in different forms. I don't know if it's for the same way for everybody, but when I get worked up about something, that's when I'm like, okay, what can I do to change this? What do I need to put into place? And I think that's where my hope comes from, because when I look back, it's like I had that strength to move forward. Strength isn't just in the moment. Strength is looking back at those moments and going, whoa, I did that.
Hope is not getting weighed down by the negative, the worry, or the fear. And that doesn't mean it doesn't ever crop up, but it means knowing, like, deep in you that there's something that's going to come no matter what. You don't have to be bubbly and your glass is totally full, but you don't ever want to let it drag you down to the point where you're paralyzed. Hope for me is you just keep going, you just keep believing, and it's going to happen.
Look at hope as a motivational state of mind. It includes the belief that you can achieve a goal and also understanding that there are many pathways there. Remember that hope is fluid. It's always changing, and accepting the uncertainty that goes along with that.
Hope looks like having a community around me that also believe that we can be well again, that there are those moments of joy and that support from others, building like a web around you, lifting you up, and one giving you the grace that you might need when you can't give it to yourself, to that might be able to look at something with a different perspective to make it a little easier for you to see that there might have been some joy in a moment and you can look back at it, that there's someone else that can say, I know what you're going through. That's what hope looks like for me in these days, is that community. That I've been there too. I know what you're going through. If you need to talk, let's talk.
Hope is never wasted. Hope is what carries you through, and hope can change. What you hope for and what reality is sometimes are two different things. You have to be flexible with hope.
Hope is what's happening in the future that I know will bring me some joy. What's happening in the future that I can look forward to, so it keeps me moving one step in front of the other till I get to that goal. Hope is knowing that I'm going to be better moving forward than I am today, because I'm learning more and more about myself every day, which sounds weird because, but 68, you think, okay, you pretty much know you. I don't really know my limits yet. And so understanding that I can push myself, knowing how far I can go, and understanding that I have to have hope. I have to. It's the only way I'm going to survive, I think.
Hope is knowing that you can move forward, knowing that there is something ahead of you that you can achieve. And I think maybe I've lived my whole life on hope. Sometimes it didn't go through exactly the way I wanted it, but it always goes through exactly the way it's supposed to.
I think that it's easier to ask, when wasn't there a time I needed hope? There have been many times in my life that I needed hope. From the day I was born, I needed hope that I would live because I was born premature 3 months early. So I needed hope that I would be able to make it on my own, so to speak.
When I was a little girl, I had a rare kidney disease, and I was in and out of hospitals, and I was told that I could be dead by 16. I didn't want to die, but I was very sick. I can tell you that I had no hope. I saw what my future was going to be, and I had no hope.
I had such a bad flare-up for probably 2 days. I was lying on the floor and I couldn't move. I was in so much pain and nothing helped. And we just tried like all the different things and stronger meds. And when we finally got that under control, I couldn't sleep and nothing would work.
My dad passed away. It wasn't until I was with him in his last week, caring for him in a way I'd never expected, because I realized I was groomed to be able to do it. My mom told me he had said to her was that he felt alone. She said I was right there next to him. How could he feel alone? And I realized that was me. In my early postpartum days, I was alone, yet I had so many people wanting to be near and around me. How do you be alone in a room full of people? Through my faith and healing over the last 5 years, because of my postpartum journey, I don't think I would have been prepared to help with my dad's illness in his last days. I don't think I would have been able to help my mom go through everything as a caretaker in his last days. So the hope that I've had getting through these and coming to the other side and getting there and seeing that it's possible to heal, it's possible to get past those dark days, I think just allowed me to be able to be present in these dark days and not lose hope, just in general in this.
When I found out that I was at the age of 16, that I was pregnant, and I'd always had this dream of going to the Olympics, and I saw everything. It just, you know, when something catches fire, it just kind of floats away. Everyone lost hope in me, including my parents. I didn't know where to go because for 8 years, all I could think about was going to the Olympics. That's what I was working towards. That's what I was working out towards. That's what I was practicing for. No one took me by the side and said, hey, let's make a plan for you. Let's find out what you can do. Because I had no idea what I was good at. So I needed hope at that moment because it was hopeless for me at that moment.
Everybody else's life looks real good. And here I am struggling with this, or I'm struggling with that. And everybody else looks like they have it all figured out, right?
In the beginning, I felt like a failure. And it can actually be really depressing because I think I'm supposed to be doing all these things and other people can do them. That was probably the hardest thing. Other people can do all these things, but I can't. And I'm even doing the minimum and I'm still struggling. And then I'll have a flare up and then I'll get sick. I just feel like this super low capacity.
I remember I just hung up the phone and I cried. I was so upset.
You know, when you're hungry and you don't know where your next meal is, it's not ideal, but you can kind of deal with it. But when you're hungry and your child is crying because your child is hungry, that's on a whole nother level. I needed to do something. I just didn't know what the something was at that moment. And no one was there to help me. So I had to figure it out.
You're aware of how unsafe you are, or how unsafe you think you are, because I wasn't actually unsafe. And then that's how I think I perceived myself, as this flimsy tree, like at risk all the time from anything.
I was judging myself on things I did with a much younger brain that didn't have the same knowledge, didn't have the same experience. So choices I made, which may not have been great, but I did it when I was younger. So why now, at this age, when I know better, why couldn't I believe that if I had those choices to make today, I'd do better? I'd do them differently because I had different knowledge and different maturity and different experience. When you know better, you would definitely do better. You would do different. So why carry the mistakes of the past as horrible things when you made a mistake or you chose poorly? But it's not who you are today. So why carry that forward?
You don't expect it. It's not something you get married and go, oh, can't wait to get divorced. You don't bring a child into the world thinking, oh, I'm going to get divorced and it's going to be a breeze to get through life. It's just something that develops, and it's a big hurdle to get over.
What I didn't understand about being in an abusive relationship is that you are so consumed with saying the right thing, replying to something the right way, doing all of these things that could set off your partner. You don't have time to think about stuff like that. There were signs prior, but you're meeting a new person. You think, oh, it's not that bad, right? And it was. Once I decided to get out of the relationship, I understood that was the most dangerous time for me. I was trying to get out. I was trying to do it on my own. I said, that's it. I called the cops. I had to get my power back. No matter what I did, no matter what I said, it was never enough. Ever. That was a low, low point, because it makes you feel you're so alone. Even the people who say they're your family, that they love you, all this other stuff, but they don't really. It's a lonely place to be.
Particular summer camp was a miserable experience for me. And I just remember everybody picked on me. In public school too, kids would pick on me, and I never understood why that was different from the other kids. I was a lonely kid. I didn't have many friends. I just remember always feeling lonely, and my friends would become the characters on the TV shows I would watch. I would pretend at home that I was friends with all the kids from Saved by the Bell. That's what helped me get through.
I knew these stories had to be told. The disability community was underrated, that the importance of the arts was underrated, and I knew I would find a way, even if it ended up being me just posting it on YouTube. But I thought, it's my job as a producer, and I owed it to these kids and families who gave me 10 months of their time. It was a huge step for them to trust me with their stories and their life. And I took that very, very seriously. How could I not go one more time? How could I not look for one more door? How could I not ask Simon, what would you do? How could I not investigate and just keep moving forward? I woke up and thought, what's the next step? And it's funny how Disney didn't want it, but their parent company, Apple TV, bought it.
After 21 years of marriage and having an 8-year-old daughter, I wound up divorced, living in New York City, working for a corporation, working in a high-powered job, so it was very stressful, and worrying about her all the time, because we were there on public transportation the day of 9/11. That alone, hanging over your head, living in New York City, puts a fear factor in you. That is always in the back of your head. It was just the fear of worrying about my daughter and what was going to come next for her. At that time, my daughter was going into high school. And because there was such a large amount of children going into high school, there was a lottery. So we had two great high schools right around the corner from our apartment. She wound up in a high school that was on the opposite end of town. After surviving 9/11 and worrying about that, now I was going to have to worry about her taking public transportation to get to high school. I felt it was just such a horrific thing. It's time to get out of New York. And it really was protection for her, because I gave up my family, I gave up my friends, I gave up my career just to make her life better and make everything more accessible for her. So we moved to Dallas. Within 2 weeks of living here, she turned to me and said, "Mom, I love my life here. I wished we lived here my whole life." As a mother, you never know if all those decisions you're going to make are the right ones. But that was a plus in my column.
My husband passed away, and I was pretty hopeless. I realized after I tried to go back to my old job, I couldn't do it. I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do. And pretty far down the totem pole as far as hope goes, when I started letting go of my old life, what I realized is even in the deepest, darkest time of grief over my husband, that there was a gift.
I needed hope in my early postpartum days when I had my son 5 years ago. It was hard. It was harder than I expected. I was isolated because of a worldwide pandemic. I was isolated because I was a new mom alone on that end. And I didn't know how to ask for help. I tried asking for help for something that I felt was wrong with my son physically, which I felt was creating issues for us in sleep, in nursing, in all kinds of ways, for me emotionally as well. And I didn't know that they were related to each other. I didn't know a lot of things about how I would be hormonally after having a baby. I was very prepared until I realized that I needed to ask for help, and I didn't want to, because the person I would ask for help from, I didn't want her to know I was weak. And I wasn't. I was strong for asking for help. Even asking for help, I felt hopeless, helpless. We definitely got things fixed for my son, which did make improvements on our nursing and sleeping, but didn't improve my emotions, my hormonal changes. So those kept going. And I faced my darkest days between postpartum rage, depression, and anxiety. I did not think that I was good enough to be a mom, and that my son and husband would be better off without me. That they didn't deserve to have to deal with someone who couldn't control their anger in the littlest of things. I didn't want to ask for help because of how that felt to me, being weak and not strong.
I had no idea what was going to happen. How was I going to take care of my child? How was I going to make my child's life better?
Who am I and what's my purpose in the world? Because now for 20 something years, I've solidly been in the mom zone. I do other things, like 2 businesses that are really important to me. And yet there is a massive shift when kids leave, stepping back from being the helper. That's hard.
I needed hope. When I was in a position that I thought I wanted for a job and a career that I worked really hard to get back to, that I, thought that was my answer to becoming myself. I was in it and it was killing me. It was dragging me down and I got sick. I had to believe that there was a different way. I had to let go of what I had been working towards and just go, okay, this didn't work. You're going to find what will.
anxiety provoking thing is that perfect is different for any person you interact with. So I had to be first always very prepared. Like preparation was my middle name. So before I did anything, I'd think through, who am I going to talk to? Who's going to be there? What are they about? What do they like? Because then I can know who to be so that they won't reject me.
I just never felt that I was good enough. And I think that's the biggest reason to lose hope, right? The biggest reason is you don't feel you're good enough, or you're not doing something that is fulfilling.
One of the times that I needed hope is around my 30th birthday. Things just weren't going the way I thought life was going to go. I wasn't in what I thought was a dream job. I wasn't dating anyone. I just felt like it was one thing after another. And I did start getting to a place, I do look at everything I would have missed if I went through with it.
There was just like it was a good 5 years of going, who the heck am I?
It showed up by surprise. So I'm in a corporate job. I'm working 12-hour days. I'm traveling. I'm doing all the things that I dreamed were what I was meant to be doing after a long hiatus, staying home, raising my kids. So I'm out there and I've got the power suits on and I'm having an impact. I'm doing all these wonderful things that I always thought I wanted to do, but it was dragging me personally down. I felt bad, really bad, like stress-wise. And I found out I had an illness that I had to take care of. But you kind of keep ignoring those signals and keep on pushing yourself through. I'm Superwoman. And then so all of a sudden, I had this thing that I had to deal with. And it was like, wow, you have to change. It kind of was a light in a tunnel that was getting darker and darker.
You start the day, and the moment you wake up your eyes, you are super Amy. And it's what could any human being do, times it by 2 and add a cherry on top. And that's what super Amy should be able to do.
I had a friend tell me I had the worst case of imposter syndrome that she had ever seen.
I was almost 50 and was looking in the mirror, seeing this changing face and body and going, what the heck is this? And there were parts of me that just felt like a failure in a lot of stuff. I was telling myself it was too late. I realized that I had bought into all kinds of ageist ideas.
Here we were, my daughter was happy. I gave up my career in New York City. I had no idea what I was going to do. And now I had to figure out what I was going to do because I had to earn an income.
For anyone who knows anything about the military, you do not make a whole lot of money. You're trying to live your life and you have more months left than you have money. And there were so many times when I just didn't know what to do because I had a clearance. So if you can't handle your money, then maybe you can't handle your clearance and you get demoted. It's this whole spiral. There was so many times that I would come in from work and I would lay on the floor and just sob because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't talk to my parents because then I fall into that, oh, see, she failed. I told you. They were waiting for me to fail. Finally, I wrote out my options. For me at that point was bankruptcy. It was just the thing I needed to do. Was it the right one? I don't know, but it was an option. I learned a lot along the way. But when you buy groceries and I could only buy enough for my son, and there were many times he'd say, Mommy, you're not eating. And I'm like, oh, Mommy's on a diet or Mommy's not really hungry. I was hungry. But he needed that food more than I did at that point. And I didn't want him to know that Mommy couldn't handle her money or whatever money she had, because that's how it felt to me, that I felt like a failure. I felt hopeless. But I had to make a move.
One of the times that really stand out for me is right after I graduated college, I had 3 friends who stopped being friends with me because of something I did. And it was very challenging for me to get through that situation. First of all, I felt terrible for what I did. And I learned an extremely big lesson from that moment. I saw the repercussions could be from one moment in time and how that can snowball. I was very very upset for a while, and I really didn't know how I was going to go on without those 3 friends. We were very close in college, and we did everything together. The one thing that did come out of that situation was I did develop better friendships with the other people around me, which to this day I am for the lesson that I learned of what not to do and getting a better understanding of why they stopped being friends with me.
I was a perfectionist and I was trying to be everything to everyone and trying to be superwoman, but it had to be for everyone. Like every single person in the world, every single person that I ever spoke to needed to be just blown away by all the things I could do for them all the time. You're like trying very hard to look like it's not difficult, but it is difficult, but you can keep going. And I couldn't.
Going through the moments of what I deemed as torture in trying to help my son go into school in his first month of kindergarten, I felt like all eyes were on me. We were the only 2 that took the entire time. The doors were open for everyone to come in, crying and convincing and begging and wailing. So all eyes were on me and him. And I'm sure we both felt that pressure. We were also encouraged. We weren't the only ones that this was happening to. The teachers and professionals in the school would check on him throughout the day and say he was fine. I knew I wasn't alone, but I felt very alone in those moments. Unless someone was going to be standing right beside me, which I was grateful for people who did, because also I thought I was crazy losing my mind thinking it was me and only me, but then having someone with me recognizing, wow, that is what you go through every single day. How can I be of a better help? Was some big things for me in those moments too.
I needed hope when I was a mom to young kids. I think that can be a really challenging time. It completely transformed me and it changed everything. It shook up my sense of who I was and what my place was in the world. I was thrilled and very happy to be a mom, but it also meant that the lifelong dream that I'd had of becoming an actress, I was done with it. And I didn't know what to do with myself.
I think that's probably where I needed the hope, was in not feeling like a failure and not feeling I've made a wrong turn somewhere, or I've made a huge mistake, or I tried and I just don't have what it takes, or I've been punished for something. I think that's probably a good summary of the season. I needed hope.
I needed hope in knowing that a season would really be a season. And that was not how life was going to be from then on. I expected the start of a school year to go smoothly. By day 3 of school, it was not like that. It seems silly now because it was a short season, but it did not feel like that. I needed hope that he was okay, even though he was pitching the biggest fits, that I would be okay, because I felt like a failure in not being able to do it easily for him in that separation, that something felt it was my fault that he wasn't okay in the mornings, that I needed hope that I didn't do something wrong. I wasn't a bad mom. I needed it to end. I needed hope, and that would be a short season because it was hard. I felt like I did something wrong again, because what did I do that made this so bad for a whole month? And now all of a sudden, with no real change, it's good. I mean, now I understand a little bit differently how even I pitch a fit when I can't understand feelings too.
It's a whole season that I think I've needed hope, because suddenly I've had to pull back on so many things that I think were good things.
I see what's happening in the world and the lack of humanity that I'm witnessing, and I need a hope. I think what's giving me hope about it is knowing deep in my heart, I believe that we're more than this. We're more than these bodies. We're more than what we see going on around us.
What has helped me get through so many situations is finding a moment where I'm not reacting. I just think, okay, this is what it is right now because I can't do anything to change it, but knowing that I'm going to be okay regardless.
I started out as a dancer. This was during the Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, that big boom when they were the top two. I went to auditions for them, and they didn't even watch me dance. I went to another open call. There's 2,000 people there, and they did it again. They lined us up, and they just pointed to people that stayed. And the third time it happened, I thought, I don't like this. I've studied dance too long, and you're not going to watch me? I was furious. So I stayed in the parking lot till 11:30 at night when the producers and choreographers came out. And I said, this is the third time I've done this, and you guys didn't even ask me to dance. What is it that makes you make that decision? And one lady stepped forward and said, you don't have the look. You look too masculine. I then changed course with my career, now realizing I'm not going to be cast in these videos. So I started auditioning for dance companies and got in two, and traveled with one for 7 or 8 years. She gave me the answer, and then I changed course. Then I decided, okay, I'm going to dance. Now, I didn't give up. I'm going to dance. It's just now it's not going to be with Janet Jackson. I didn't give up on my dreams and my goals. I just adjusted to the circumstances that were presented in front of me. And I think hope is involved in all of that.
Hope was a light in a tunnel that I was living in that was getting darker and darker by what I was doing. And all of a sudden it was like I knew I had to find a solution, but in my heart I knew I could, because there was like a light there. Even though I was still dealing with all the stuff, it felt like there was light in the tunnel, finally.
My friend, Sonia, is the co-founder of the Postpartum Resource Center of New York. Their phrase that they share is, you are not alone, you are not to blame, and you will be well with help. Hear it all the time. It doesn't hit home until it's told to you. And I believed her when she said, let me get you this help and I will follow up with you tomorrow. That dedication is what finally made me believe someone would help me, that they showed up.
You could be in a situation, I'm saying, where I knew nobody and still be able to make that work for you. To the point where there was one event I went to where I met my future husband.
I realize now that you can overcome imposter syndrome.
I had a really good analogy. You think of like those old trains, and they have all the carts. The front little cart is the one that has the driver in it. The front cart sets the direction of all the carts. So those are like emotions. The emotions are important, but we don't let the emotions pull the cart. We let the truth pull the cart.
We have a tendency when we're by ourselves, in ourselves, to not let the belief that all that wonder is out there exist sometimes. We can go inward and put walls up around you in a certain way, and your brain kind of goes wild. And it just goes off on all these tangents of things, and you don't get any feedback. A community gives you that feedback, that reflection that you often don't allow yourself. When I interact with people in a community that I know, and I know them and they know me, just having the conversation and having them reflect back to me who I am in a smile, in something they say. Having someone sit across from you, even if it's virtually, and you have this knowledge that they know you and you know them, it changes the whole tone of your life. And whether that's with a partner or a community of entrepreneurs or a community of friends, whatever it is, you need that feedback loop where you get caught up in yourself and it's not good for your heart. So community is what really keeps your heart alive.
Going through those dark days, going through even healing, because even once you start healing, you still have to hold on to the hope that you'll be healed or you'll reach better healing and be better. So you can't ever lose that hope. And it doesn't feel like it's just going to happen overnight. That was going to be nightmarish if it lasted that long. And now that those seasons are over, out of 5 years so far, that's nothing. 1 month of kindergarten, going through whatever it was I had to go through for separation anxiety, and now being a month in of great days, that was not a very long season at all, comparably. This is such a better season now. And I just know that it doesn't stop here. There's going to be more up and down seasons, and I can appreciate that in a different way after a lot that has happened just in this year.
In the time with my kids, I would remind myself, don't wish this away. Constantly. I would constantly wish myself, say that. Oh, goodness. Speaking as an empty nester, it hits differently.
I would say it's hard, but hard is not bad. Hard can be good.
The hope was looking at my son, understanding that if something happens to me, then he's going to be without a mother and a father. And I had to keep going. I had to do all those menial jobs that weren't paying much, but I had to do something until I came to the conclusion that the one thing I needed to do was going into the military, because I felt as though the military would let me exhale. I've been holding my breath for so long. It was a place to land. It was a place to raise my child. It was a place that I could have money to feed my child, and I would have a steady job doing whatever it was I was going to be doing in the military. And that was the main reason I went in the military.
Gaining confidence from validation just continued to allow me to grow in confidence as a mom throughout all the ups and downs along the way.
I don't think there's ever a situation I'm in that I can't relate to a song.
Finding photography gave me joy. It gave me something to learn. It gave me something I could pick up and do anytime I wanted to, whether or not somebody was paying me to do it. I could pick up my camera and try to make a beautiful photo of something.
There are lies that I believed in general. There are lies that you come to believe are true, and it's so deep and it's so subconscious that you don't even say them in your head. You just believe them so deeply that it infiltrates everything that you do. So it's even took quite a long time to figure out those lies.
I don't feel like I can point to anything that is super dramatic or a big traumatic event. Needing hope, it's just part of the human condition. Like, I'm not different from anybody else. Feeling hopeless at moments. And it's just human. We need hope on an ongoing basis. I think we have to seek it out actively. We have to look for it. We have to be determined to find it.
For me, I journaled. And it's hard to do with the baby on your back or in your arms, but I voice recorded for a very long time how I felt, and it turned into a book. So you never know. It may just stay private, but giving voice, being a little bit more outspoken with your story can sometimes be just another step towards healing.
In trying to inspire her to keep going, I had to find my own. And letting go of the day-to-day stuff, letting go of the regrets, letting go of the self-criticism of what you may or may not have done right, or what you found or didn't find, or why didn't you think of this? So many paths you can go down to where, how could you have avoided it? I find hope in trying to help her be strong, because that makes me have to be strong.
Tom died of a cancer that there was no cure for. Before he passed, he was really, really sick for about 6 months. We had time together. But I think what really helped me is the last real conversation that we had. I had said to him, you know what's happening, because he had lost almost everything. He says, yes, I just want you to know that it's been an incredible ride with you by my side. After he passed, every time I would feel disconnected, I would either read one of the letters or I would listen to his silly Roses Are Red poem for me. I think you have to find something that you can grasp onto, that you can hold on to it. Don't be afraid of the memories.
Had I not gone through what I did, had I not moved to Dallas, had all of that not happened, I never would have met my husband.
I found hope in my other friends that I had, my family. I found hope in music, in TV shows, movies. I leaned into my love of entertainment to find those songs that would help me through a rough time. Because of this situation, I created what I have dubbed my ultimate survival mix, which was 4 CDs. All of that music really helped me get through that rough time, because it was a rough time.
There are things that are giving me hope now that have changed my perspective, that actually do make me feel very hopeful.
After going to the Mayo Clinic and realizing that I was given a gift, that's not wasted.
Have you ever been on a highway and it's just you and the highway and you're just driving? It feels open. You feel freer. You don't do what you don't want to do. You do all the things you want to do. You try some things over here that doesn't work, no big deal. You try this over here and it works, great. I started my business at most points when people are retiring. And I said, what if I got to lose? So I think there's more hope moving forward in my business, in my life, in all the things that I want to do. I don't say I can't do that anymore. What I do say is, I don't want to. It's not that I can't bungee jump. I just don't want to. It's not that I can't run a marathon. I just don't want to.
There's power to not taking yourself or what you're doing too seriously. I've never been one to want somebody to hang on every word. I'd much rather have somebody laugh or giggle.
I always go back to what I have and what I can give.
I have survived 100% of the things that have been put in front of me. And whatever I've worried about in my life, it has always worked out in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not the way I thought I wanted it to work out, but in the end, here I am. I look at my life and I feel so blessed at all the things that have come my way. It's like this backwards and forwards looking thing. If I'm worried about something in the future now, I've been there before. I've done that worrying before, and it didn't really do anything to help me. So hope looks like reminding myself that anxiety and worry are stories I'm telling myself.
I needed to be the platform to get those stories out because I knew how dance changed my life. So why not share how dance can change everybody's life? So I had that goal in mind, and now I had all this footage and I had to figure it out. I talked to Morgan Spurlock, the late director. He said, trust your gut. He said, you know what to do. Every day, do 3 things. Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't have to make the entire movie tomorrow. It's trusting yourself. It's also asking someone for their advice to help you through. Erase expectations and just do what's in front of you. And whatever that is okay, as long as you keep moving forward.
I was just a person that just kept putting one foot in front of the other and one foot in front of the other.
Whenever circumstances seem to become overwhelming and I'm not sure what to do next, I lie down and I give myself permission to do this. We're not talking 5 days, we're talking 20 minutes. In that moment, I'm not actively forcing a result. I'm not actively pursuing an outcome. I'm learning to trust my intuition and the natural flow of my ideas. This brings back the hope because I've let everything happen naturally. Then hope fuels the drive then to act and continue to move forward towards my goal because I've given myself permission to just be and just let everything fall to the wayside, go wherever it's supposed to be. And I think it's a very helpful tool.
That move was bankruptcy. And I learned a lot, how not to do bankruptcy again, how to handle my money better. It was the right thing for me at that moment in time. And I got past it. I got through it. My son's healthy. I'm healthy. At the time, it feels like the biggest thing ever. It feels like the biggest mountain you will ever climb in your life. But there's something about making a decision. It takes a lot off your brain, off your shoulders, that you have a path. When things feel hopeless, or you think they're hopeless, make a plan and look forward. To declare bankruptcy is embarrassing. I didn't tell anybody, no one. I did what I did because it was necessary. Unfortunately, that happened, but I can say that I'm on the other side of it and I'm better. Not because of the bankruptcy, but because of what I learned. I had to learn how to handle money because my parents didn't teach me that. What got me through is understanding that this is now, but it's going to get better. It's not always going to be like this.
So with Everybody Dance, I had to look for a distributor, and Netflix didn't see the value in this film. Disney didn't see it. So I went to a distributor who absolutely loved it. I had gotten all these no's, but it didn't stop me because you find another door. And then the next year I won an Emmy. That was nowhere ever in my plan. And I didn't even know that they had submitted it. So again, just be open to anything and everything, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know.
I am in a deep inquiry about how playfulness and having an experimental mindset, how that might help me to access hope and joy on an ongoing basis.
The anxiety-provoking thing is that perfect is different for any person you interact with. So I had to be first always very prepared. Like, preparation was my middle name. So before I did anything, I'd think through, who am I going to talk to? Who's going to be there? What are they about? What do they like? Because then I can know who to be so that they won't reject me.
If I stay curious in the middle of the challenges without pushing them away, then I can maybe live with the challenges and embrace the moment for what it is, that there's a challenge here, but what can I do and how can I be within the challenge?
I turned down one opportunity because I felt that I had grown past that, and then look, another door opened with a bigger opportunity.
It inspired me to obviously take care of the illness piece and not go back to that life again. It's been a huge shift. I had to let go of that and take all the things that were good about me and let them be the things that I was building on instead of the titles, the trappings, and the life. I had to let go of that and turn that into, well, what's transferable? What are the real things that are me that matter? I had things about me that weren't my titles, that weren't my degrees, that weren't where I went to school, that weren't the trappings, that there was more to me than that, and I had to believe it and find how to use it.
You just have to be you. But there was me saying all of that, but not doing that in real life. And so everything that I was doing, every time I showed up, it wasn't to try to be false. After 3 years of sitting on the sidewalk and unpacking the bricks, brick by brick by brick, even to find another brick, to find another brick, to find another brick, all those bricks were lies that were weighing me down and that stopped me from actually just being Amy. I wasn't confident in who I was. I was trying very hard to be the person that would make everybody else's life easier. It didn't matter what that meant for me, but I also didn't want anyone to reject me. I needed to be valuable. So if I made their life easier, then I would be valuable and they wouldn't reject me. So everything in me went into panic stations. There was that internal stress.
There's just these little things come up, but to be centered and to feel secure in what I'm doing, yes, bumps along the road all the time. And insecurities do pop up in regards to, I'm overwhelmed. Am I going to be able to finish this movie?
Getting curious about who I am now and what I want now, following those glimmers, those instincts, intuitions, and getting brave and stretching outside the comfort zone a little bit.
It inspired me to let go of a lot of stuff. It inspired me to let go of the things that weren't useful, which were the criticism of the past. Maya Angelou's quote, when you know better, you do better, right? You can't judge yourself on what you knew 10 years ago and carry around regret over something that you didn't really know. And in that moment, you didn't know any better. You did what you could. So that helps me feel like I can keep going and feel like I'm on a path. That's a good path. It's not perfect. I had to let go of a lot of that stuff.
Me needing that helped me build my own community with the resources that I know worked for me. That now I can be an advocate, not just to the Postpartum Resource Center of New York and advocating for them to be someone's lifeline, but to advocate for moms, to be an ambassador of moms and letting others know that there is help. So we believe that there is hope is one of the ways I've been impacted, as well as how I want to help impact others.
I could share my experience so that it could help someone else. Not just to say, look, I did it. I got bruised along the way. It was not a pretty picture all the time. My goal in life is to share things with people and make their lives easier and try to keep them from falling into the pit and despair of situations.
It made me look at what I did that caused them to be mad at me and what could I have done differently to not have that situation happen. I never wanted to do that again to somebody. I think the fact that it gave me that time to look at myself to see how I could become a better person. Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. So I definitely know better, and I definitely have been able to do better.
Once I got my feet on the ground, once I got through, boot camp and tech school, I finally said, okay, what do I need to do? The hope was that I could plan. I couldn't plan when no money was coming in. I couldn't plan where my next meal was coming from because I didn't know. Now I can plan. Maybe I can save some money. Maybe I could do this. I had hope because I could plan down the road. And that was something I'd never had before.
Every day, I get up in the darkness and I'll be outside in my happy place, we call it. I am so fortunate that I get to see the sunrise every day. It brings me to life. Dawn has the power to take whatever veil is in front of you and lift it, if you let it. So you could choose to stay inside in your house with all the lights off and sit in the dark, or you can look for the light. It's coming. So when I sit outside and I see the sunrise, that starts in me that feeling of light, that it's coming. So no matter how dark it is, every day the sun is going to rise.
Noticing what I'm thinking and then getting curious about what I'm thinking. Anxiety just kind of goes, and worry, it just kind of goes whoosh when I get curious. And that's why I call it a superpower. Once I get curious, that lighter feeling allows me to think more creatively about what I do want. And that's where the hope starts to come in.
I feel like there's a lot of people that have gone through life where, for one reason or another, friendships change, some dissipate for one reason or another. And I guess I just want to say that there is life on the other side of it. For as hard and difficult as it is, the person that I directly hurt, we found each other through social media, and I got to apologize for what I did, because all these years later, I realized my mistake. I realized what I did wasn't right, and I was more grateful and more appreciative that she wrote back and accepted my apology. We have been continuing to stay in touch over social media, and it is very nice to be back in touch.
I learned from my former boss, Simon Cowell, when he did American Idol. He had done it in the UK, and it was called Pop Idol, and it was huge over there. He went to 10 different networks, and nobody wanted it. He went back and talked to the head of Fox at that time. The head of Fox's wife was there because they were going out to lunch, and Simon just showed up. And she said, "Is that the show like in the UK called Pop Idol?" And he goes, "Yeah, I created it, and I'm trying to sell it here in America." And she turned to her husband and said, "You need to buy that show." We watched it when we were in the UK 5 or 6 months ago. Don't you remember? See, the guy didn't connect the dots. His wife said, "We saw that. It's brilliant." So he went one more time, and look how that happened. But 10 people told him no, and on the 11th time, he got a yes. And look where American Idol is now. How many years later? A no is just a no from that person. A no doesn't mean you stop working on whatever it is you're working on in your life. Just keep going. You can find a way to make it work if you set up an expectation. It might not turn out the way you wanted it to or you perceived it to be, but something will happen, and you might not realize it till months later, years later, and then you go, "Oh, I get it now."
If you don't go and bowl down all the pins or even attempt to put the ball on your hand, why are you at the bowling alley? I don't want to sit and watch. I want to leave this earth with no regrets. I did everything I wanted to do. A little slower than most, and I'm a late bloomer for real, okay? For real. But that shouldn't stop anybody. There's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of crying, and then you're cried out. What I try to do is write down, what are my options? What can I do? And if I don't know, then I start asking questions. Find out what your options are. If you've lost your job, what's open to you? Maybe you've been doing a hobby as just a side hustle. Maybe that can bring you money. If you found out you're pregnant, find out what your options are, because you have options. And then find the option that fits you best for now, because it's going to change. So every time I make a list, I have an option. I pick an option, I do that. What's my next option? Where can I go from here? Can I get promoted in a job? Maybe you decided to keep your child like I did. Do you have a place to go? Do you have a place to stay? Do you have a place that's safe? Can you stay with your parents? Find out what all of those options are, and then put them into play if you can. If you try to go to an option that you've written down and it doesn't work out, scratch it out. Or maybe you can even change it a little bit. So it seems hopeless, and it is for a little bit. It really is. And then you get past the emotion of it, and then you realize, I have to put something into play. What's it going to look like? Maybe you can't get the job that you want right now, but maybe there is a job that you can do for now. Maybe you feel like you're in debt up to your ears, and you don't know what that hope is. What are your options?
And what I've realized now is, no matter how horrific something is, there is a gift and there's an opportunity. If we just keep that in mind, that I don't know what the gift or the hope is now, but if we just open our mind and say, there is going to be a new gift in our lives, and we hang on to that.
I am a firm believer you are a product of your experiences, and there's no bad experience because it takes you to the next thing in your life. It helps get you to success, because if it's a mistake or if it's a failure, you're not going to do it again, but it's still a positive experience for you to know that.
Hope for me is looking forward to that day when I say, tomorrow's going to be better. I'm going to be better. I don't want to get into, I'll be happy when, because that never works. But I think of, what can I do today to help me feel better tomorrow? Or what can I put in place today to help me feel better? I think having hope it's got to be universal. It's got to be within you, knowing that no matter what, you're going to be okay.
You can really feel like, why is this happening to me? That viewpoint takes away your power and your agency in any given moment when you feel like a victim. It's very difficult to take your power back. And we are all powerful beyond our imaginations, I believe. If you can ask yourself, is this happening to me or is this happening for me? It is a way to flip this so that you can maybe start to see what it is that you need to learn from this seemingly insurmountable moment.
The thought that in all of this, like, we ask the question, why me? I must not be good enough. Something's wrong. I must have done something bad. All those things that we can start talking badly about ourselves because we can't get to that other side of the season, finding that the hope is achievable. I was the mom I was intended to be because it helped me get here. So, you were the person you were intended to be.
When you think you're not going down the right path or something terrible happens, it's a gift and an opportunity, always. It's not failure, it's just a course correction. That's what gives me hope.
I would say, believe that even if you don't see it today, it exists. And so take today and be kind to yourself and get off of the shoulda, woulda, coulda, and chastising yourself with the baseball bat away, as my sister says to me when I'm in a dark place. Stop beating yourself up and just believe that it will come. You will find it. You're resourceful, you're smart, you're able. It's all out there. You just haven't found it yet. It's not darkness, it's coming on dawn.
You know, when you are in the middle of whatever situation you're in, health, loss of job, someone dies, all of those horrific things that you're going through at the moment, in order to survive, you have to hope. You have to put something out there and know that something better will eventually come. Something different, something you may have to get adjusted to, but you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. You may not feel that at the time, But I can just tell you from my own personal experience, when I was at the lowest of my low, when I first started with my divorce, I had no idea how I was going to survive.
The hope that I'm feeling is it's all good. I'm where I'm supposed to be. So much growth has happened in my heart, I think, in my life.
If you're thinking of yourself in a certain way, if you're beating up on yourself, then you continue to stay stuck because of the way you're thinking about yourself. What if you already have every tool that you need in your toolbox? It's already in you. And maybe you've just forgotten how to access some stuff along the way because life has beat you down, or people told you things, or you had experiences that you made mean a certain something. And maybe you have stuffed down your own innate wisdom.
I hope I can handle this, because you have no idea. It's a new experience. It wasn't something that you were born knowing. And people can give you advice and people can tell you, but until you feel it and go through it yourself and experience it, can you really share that with someone else?
I believe that positive outcomes happen. It might not be what we anticipated or what we, quote, expected, but I do think that we end up where we're supposed to end up. And we are presented with things that we can handle. And it's just our job to work through all that.
That we have choice, and we do have power, and we do have agency. There's the things that are within your control. There's the things that are outside of your control, and you can do a thing, however small. Then do that thing. And it may not look like doing something big. It may be taking the walk. Make sure that you have eaten, that you've had enough water to drink. If you need sleep, that you're rested. That taking care of yourself can then open you up to more possibility. Finding little things to appreciate in every moment, in every day. Let yourself get open to the ideas. And then when an idea comes, take a little step, like right away.
Hope looks like lending an ear to a friend who needs it, or checking in on someone who is going through a rough time. It's putting a positive message out on social media to let someone know things are going to be okay.
Every day you find something to laugh about.
If you have a limiting belief and it just keeps you stuck, I call them thought loops. If there's something I think I want and I'm not taking steps towards that thing, that's usually a huge indicator. I don't think failure is trying something and it not working out the way you wanted it to. Failure is not even taking the step in the first place. Failure is just information.
I think hope comes when you pursue those goals and you take the steps needed to move it forward. And I would encourage people to be open to all the different pathways that are going to come in front of you on your journey. It's always going to be different. You learn from each one of these and open the window, open the next door, because the yes might be behind that next door.
Reinvention isn't about changing yourself. It's about changing the way you think about yourself.
I think we can hold on to hope, but never move towards it without having confidence. Maybe borrowing confidence, which is being around others who are confident, borrowing from them, their energy, their validation in us can help us move towards what it is that we believe our hope is. We can just get stuck in a place. We're going to keep repeating ourselves over and over again. Well, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But if we never get help or get someone else's support or even just talking about it, we're never going to get past the lack of confidence we have in ourselves to be able to make a step towards gaining that realization that hope is possible. That's how it was for me. I think if I had not made that call to my friend and borrowed some of her confidence, I would have given up a lot of things in motherhood very early on and probably would not be here in this state of healing, in this state of growth, in supporting others the way that I can. So I think confidence helps us reach our hope.
You are changing the natural flow of everything, trying to get to that point, to get to that one thing that you, quote, expect and how you think it should be. And now you're wasting days because you can't creatively think of how to get there because you've set this limitation at this point. Well, now you're stuck. If you give that up, and if it happens, you have an idea over here, let the path lead you towards that instead of putting up that wall that this is what it's going to be, because then you're so frustrated.
Just letting yourself feel what you feel can free you up to change.
Be good to yourself, be kind, give yourself grace. Know that you do things with your heart, and that has a positive impact even if you can't see it. Keep leading with your heart, leading with what you know, and giving yourself the space and grace to find the path that you need to find. Keep sharing that there is possibility with other people, because that hope from you helps spur hope in them.
If you know that there is something horrible going on in your life, but there is a gift and an opportunity when you get through it, it's always the chaos before the calm. And if you just hang on to that, just hang on to it, it'll show up. It'll show up every time. It may not be what you think, but it'll show up.
I would first suggest that you find a good comedian and just laugh silly about something that is just super silly. And there's nothing you can do but laugh because it's absurd. So absurdity is a good thing. I would also say, what are the things you did when you were 5 or that you remember when you were in kindergarten? Find a memory, find something to make you laugh or smile. For me, it was going to my grandmother's on Sundays for dinner. And she had a rose garden and a flower garden in this little plot in a little row house in Philadelphia. She would wrap roses and daffodils in a little wet paper towel, put tinfoil around the bottom, and I would go home every Sunday when things were blooming and I'd have my own flowers to take home. That was pure joy.
Every day, finding something to laugh about is, if you're really in that despair, go back and find something you're grateful for. Find something that you can smile about, because that changes the chemistry of your brain. And it starts looking for more of that. So that will also help you bring you up.
I want to encourage them to be kind to themselves while they're going through it, and know that it's going to pass.
Don't be afraid of going back and laughing at the times you had together.
Surround yourself with people, places, things you love that continue to feed you so you can find your hope and find your dawn.
When you are feeling despair, you need to have people that are your people, your peeps, that you can reach out to. And you can express your despair.
I've built up these relationships with people that I really, really trust. And I can reach out to them, I can talk to them, I can ask them their advice. It just makes life so easy.
It's so important to have a community. I didn't know it at the time, but I was developing a community through networking. My goal was to expand the community. And then when COVID hit, there was the end of that. Everybody was in a state of shock as to how we were all going to be connected again. The outcome of COVID created a different community of people. Being an entrepreneur could be very lonely at times. You don't have the person at the coffee machine. It's really important to feel that sense of camaraderie and community. I think together, We're a group of people that all hope for the better for each other.
You have to step outside of your comfort zone and take that first step to either go someplace or get online. But once you do, community will help to bring you back to hope.
I think that you have to have people who are in your corner. It may not be family. Those people that uplift you, those people that you're having a bad day and they're like, it's okay, Kat. It's going to be fine. You're going to quit today and then you're going to come back going, oh, look what I did. I think a community is important. Those people that understand you, understand your heart, understand what you have to give. I love my husband. He's a rock to me, but I also need my community. Because my husband supports me in my business. He just doesn't understand all the ins and outs. My community are those people that understand I'm having a life issue. And maybe they can't solve it, but at least I can get it off my chest. And they're like, I get it, Kat, I get it. You're gonna be fine. We're here for you. And a lot of times when you hear that, you go, yeah, I'm gonna be fine. If I was by myself, I could probably get through it. Not with business though. Business, I need my community. My community's been there for me in every way. So I love my community.
Having that community, that support of entrepreneurs who truly understand what you're going through, to me means a lot, because on the days that I am discouraged on the business adventure, or on the days that I'm struggling to figure out how to do something, I know there's a group of people that I can rely on.
Don't let your life go too long to where you don't have friends and community.
Maybe we should all focus on what we can offer others. Maybe I have something to offer someone else, because you just never know.
It's easy to get down on yourself. It's easy to let yourself be crushed down or pushed down because of everything that's happening in the world right now. Understand who you are as a person. Do what makes you happy. If it's dancing like crazy for 5 minutes, if it's taking a walk, maybe you want to start a business, because we only have one life.
As hard as things might be in the moment, it does eventually get better.
It's never too late. You can always find the good in yourself and in other people, and don't let the darkness have you.
There's hope everywhere you look. You have to find what works for you.
Find the sunrise, because nobody else is going to provide that for you. Limit your exposure to those things that can take away the light, because you're responsible for keeping that box of hope inside your heart. Not easy to do. Do I do it every day? No. Do I do it all the time? No. But you can definitely spot people and places and things that detract from it. And if you don't control that in yourself and in your environment, it's easy to forget that there's hope.
We all need hope. If we don't have hope, we can't go forward. We got to hope for something.
The thing that I keep coming up to as a daily reminder, it's so silly, my house plants. It just reminds me that I healed, I'm still healing, and that even though we go through shock over that time, there's a new little growth and we have that hope again, that we're gonna perk back up and have a lovely life and bloom over and over again.
Know that there's an opportunity, no matter how horrific something feels. I'm living proof of it. I'm still here, 77 and going strong.